I hate to step on these poppies. You can hear hundreds of bees all over this field pollinating the poppies. Now this is the official California state flower, California poppy. Very bright yellow. Looks like a tulip. If you listen closely, you can hear thousands of bees and flies. Well, I just learned a little trick to adjust my antenna. I set a mirror up in there on the table, and I'll watch the picture in the mirror as I'm turning the antenna. Looks pretty good. Well, I just stepped out of the trailer. I had a 4-foot king snake over here, and at first I thought it was a rattlesnake. It had the same coloring. Usually, when I watch television, I shut my door. Don't hear the generator.
And the location of the hot spring spa store closest to you.
Reception is real good.
You're watching KTVL Channel 10, Medford.
Medford, Oregon, down here. Well, I get National Public Radio. They've got one of their radio stations on this hill, and then the television station, repeater station, is up on this second mountain. Plus, it's a microwave set up on the mountain. So I've got a direct shot to my antenna. You get 6 channels down here. 2 of them come in perfectly clear, and the others are not quite so good. But up there behind where I was up on the hill, on the other side of that hill, I only got 2 channels up there. So made a little difference. Plus up there I didn't get my National Public Radio, and down here I do. Getting some water. Clouds are moving in, coming out of the west. Most of our weather that we get down here comes out of Alaska, comes down to the coast, Got $1 million view. It's incredible. Interstate 5 is right over here. Runs up through the center of the Sacramento River Valley. Runs up through into Oregon. The town of Mount Shasta is a mile the other side of Black Butte over here. Well, the end of another day. These California poppies close up at night. Good morning. We're having pancakes for breakfast. Actually, they're granola cakes. I mix all kinds of stuff in with them. Always use honey on my pancakes. Honey's real cheap out here. They have to pollinate so many different kind of crops that there's so much competition. The price is real low. It's a lot cheaper than Aunt Jemima or any of the maple flavor syrups. So that's what I use. I also like peanut butter and honey on my crackers. It's good stuff. Always take my vitamin. Oh, last night I had something chewing underneath my trailer. Got up 2 or 3 times. I set a trap. Banged up and down on the floor. He was persistent. Kept it up all night. Then this morning, before the sun came up, there's a miner over here. He's got a flock of chickens. He's got one big Rhode Island red. And boy, he just cut loose this morning. Kept up for about an hour. That's good. I think I'll do some metal detecting this morning. Rain looks like it's going to hold off. I've got partly cloudy skies. Poppies are just starting to pop out. I have these granola pancakes just about every morning. Some mornings I'll have eggs, bacon. I'll tell you, this recipe right here keeps you going just about all day. Well, half the day till lunch. putting raisins in there, nuts, oat bran. Use just plain enriched flour. Milk and sugar, salt, baking soda. I'll turn it off now and finish my eating. Well, it's May 27th. Just had some quail flying over here. See if I can put them up. Lots of creosote bush out here. Nope. They get in this stuff and they're pretty hard to put out. Now, these are pretty. It's a quail. Oh, there goes one. Lots of quail out here. Most of them are valley quail or California mountain quail. They don't have much meat on them. I've sampled them. I'll give you a panoramic shot, and I'm going to do some metal detecting this morning. It's supposed to rain this afternoon. I'll put my tub out for bath water. Hear that quail over here. Ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. It's kind of an exotic sound. Mount Shasta is covered in clouds. It's Black Butte. Some of these quail flocks out here will have, 50 to 100. Lots of birds. I like to hear the quail early in the morning. Especially when there's no wind. They'll be all around you answering. There, the poppies are just starting to come open. Just felt a drop of rain. We're going to get a little bit. I bought a lot of newspapers, so I'll probably do some reading if it rains. Make a nice sunny day, no threat of rain. I'm going to climb up here, take the camera, then shoot back, and then shoot the other side of the valley. So Some raindrops on my lens. Here's a quail sitting up in this bush. Now the male will act as a sentry for the rest of the flock. Well, I've got a little repair job on my awning. The fabric is starting to weaken. Get all that sunshine out here on plastic, and plastic doesn't last quite so long. I think what I'll do is have a patch of material sewn on the corner here on the top side. Just temporary. Keep the thing from ripping all the way across. Usually when it's breezy, I'll put the awning up. I'm trying to catch some rainwater. Now, one thing I should have brought out here on my trip was a step ladder. Well, I'm contemplating moving my camp over here on this ridge top. There's some old gold deposit shafts and mines over there. I'll probably camp right up here. It'll give me a clear view of Mount Shasta over here too. Plus I'll be a couple miles closer to town. Right now I'm about 4 miles from town over here. This point over here is about 2 miles. Now Mount Shasta is the summit is 35 miles from this spot. Give you an idea of the size of the deer on here. Here it is, 1:30 in the afternoon, and they're out. There's a plane towing a lighter. He's taken up several today already. There's another glider being towed up. I think you get some pretty interesting video being in a glider, especially over here around Mount Shasta. They're really getting gully washer over here, real hard monsoon type rain. That would fill my tub up in no time. It's been partly cloudy all day. We've had a high of 66, and last night was 44. Black Butte over here looks like it's erupting. It's a volcanic cinder cone. California quail. Well, today is May 28th, Sunday, the day before Memorial Day. You can see the summit of Mount Shasta over here, 14,162 feet. It gives you an idea of how high that thunderhead is over here. Probably 14.5. Well, the last 3 days it's been raining off and on, scattered showers. We're getting some good showers right over here right now. Every time I start up one of the surrounding hills here, it starts raining. I'd like to get up to the top of this hill and shoot a panorama. Probably, well, let's see. Another 4 or 5 days, I'm going to move my camp over here on this this hilltop. There's a road that runs up to it, and there's a lot of mineral activity over here. So I'll be doing my mining work at the same time, and I'll get a better perspective of Mount Shasta, my mountain. Well, this coyote wandered into camp. I think I'll keep him if he wants to stay. What should I call you? El Kaido? Try to give him something to eat, but he's not hungry. What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter? It looks like he's part German Shepherd and got a black mouth like a Malamute. A husky. Part husky. He's got short ears too. Ears are too short for a coyote. Plus your nose isn't long enough. Like to play, don't you? Like to play? Well, I'll bet you belong to one of the ranches down here someplace. And I'm not going to chain yet. Just wander around if you want to. If you want to stay, you can stay. Not going to force you. Like to shake hands, don't you? So you might still be a pup. Still a pup? Do you hunt? Are you a hunter? Huh? Are you a hunter? Let's go get me a rabbit. Go get me a rabbit. Looks like this weather just might break up. Had rain for a couple days now. Today's Memorial Day. Might go down and watch the parade in town a little later. Good morning, Mount Shasta. See the summit. There's another glider being towed up. Well, I guess I'll climb the hill over here. There's several old mines up here. I'm going to check them out and shoot some video from the top. I was hoping to go up when Mount Shasta was clear of cloud cover, but I think I'll do it today. It's supposed to get more rain the next few days. Well, the prospectors of old did a lot of work right here. Taking out the rocks and stones out of the stream bed, cleaning down bedrock. You can see where the lode deposit was over here. There's a mine tunnel over here. Another one up here where you see the light colored material. Over the millions of years, the gold just worked its way down through the gulches and stream channels. I try some metal detecting here. Kind of a pretty purple. Got a big flock of red-winged blackbirds over here. They don't sound at all like the ones back in Michigan. It's like Indian wheat. These birds sound quite a bit differently from our Michigan red-wing. There's a big flock of them in this sagebrush. Well, that's my destination up there. I'll check out those mine shafts and tunnels. These redwings sound like kittens. Yeah, they sound like a bunch of kittens fighting. The dog is with me. Oh, he's barking at a wood rat nest in there. You know, I have a feeling he lives by what he catches. He's completely lean. Always seems to be hunting. There's Wairika down below. And my camp is down over in here. There's my camp down there. Right there. This is all Rocky Gulch. Right here. And there's Wairika. Hawkinsville is right here. It's about 2 miles from Wairika. There's the Trinity Alps. And there's Black Butte. There's Mount Shasta. And I've got just a little ways to go to get to the top up here. Found a deer skull down one of the gulches. Put him down here next to the, oh, put him over here on the rock. For posterity. We'll have them facing south. Wairika is a town of about 3,000 people. Made it. There's the Shasta River down below. Mount Shasta. You see the little hillocks that were blown off the top of Mount Shasta eons ago. The last time this erupted was 1789, and it's got about a once every 300 year cycle. Cloud up. Hope it doesn't rain. I see a higher hill over here. I don't think I'll climb it though because it's yeah, it looks like rain. Humbug Valley is over here. That's where I had my other camp. And the road I took coming over here, you'll see it in just a minute. Coming over the top right here. And you follow her down the side of the mountain. And the other campsite I had was right here before I came down to the lower elevation. Right there. Dog looks like he's had it. About the only farming here is grazing. The soil is highly volcanic. It's kind of reddish brown like the soil in Kenya. They raise some hay, but mostly it's Hereford cattle they raise. Wairika, the town down below here, got its start back in the gold rush days. There was gold throughout the whole valley. This mountain right here is in Oregon. Now down along Wairika Creek, you can see where they put a dam. Well, there was a dam in here at one time, and they put about 10 feet of water. And then they had these floating dredges as big as a house, two-story house with big steam shovel bucket scoops on it. And they scooped out the whole valley right down through where the town sits today. And later on it was leveled out. But they took a lot of gold out of this area right here. You can see how the ground has been disturbed. Of course, this was back in the 1850s when they worked this area. Well, I'm going to head back to camp. Right there. I hope Juanita's got something cooking. There's a nice quartz vein, but no gold. It's got a little bit of mineral stain. Want to eat some quartz? We're trying to walk through this stuff is, well, doggone it, quite on a limb. Trying to walk through this stuff is like trying to walk through stuff behind Dad's place. Awful thick. Civilization. Stuff is really spiny. Doesn't give it all. I think that dog has adopted me. Seems to be quite a hunter. He's sniffing around like a hunting dog. He comes up to the wood rat nests and he starts barking. He tries to intimidate them, drive them out. Well, I think I'm going to beat the rain. Felt a couple drops. About a half mile from camp right now. Golden eagle. The old swimming hole. Dog just swam across there, but I wasn't quick enough to get him in there. There's a couple mallards right there. Yeah, this really doesn't look like it's sturdy enough to walk on. I think I'll pass. Well, made it down from the mountain. Okay. Camp is just over here, a couple hundred yards. Home again, jiggity jig. I think I'll peel some potatoes. I guess I can legally leave the sign up now. I have a guard dog, Killer. Hey, Killer. Killer. Just don't lift your leg on my shower bag, okay? He's drying off after his swim. Yep, that's shower bag. Beware of the dog. Well, the mountain's pretty well clouded in now. That's my focal point out here, Mount Shasta. The pond is just down here, about 200 yards.
Good morning. Today is June 30th, May 30th. Keep getting my months mixed up. Now the weatherman was a little off on his weather predicting today. It was supposed to rain. Rain later on though. I'm hoping it doesn't. I think I'll do some metal detecting over here in the that little gulch I was in yesterday where they threw the rocks up. See if I can come up with something. We had 32 last night. Supposed to get up to 75 today, so I'll take a hot shower, shave. Well, it sure is nice. You wake up in the morning and you look out the window and you've got a scene like that. It's incredible. Well, I hope I was in.
Well, I can sit right here at my table, read my paper. I've got that $1 million view out there. Always buy the San Francisco Chronicle. Got good news coverage, good weather reports. Great news. Pipeline explodes where runaway train derailed. Iowa sailor transferred in sabotage probe. U.S. accuses Japan, 2 others, of unfair trade. This looks like a tapestry with that screen in there. Well, today is May 31st.
Got down to 40 last night. You'll have to excuse my videotaping this mountain so often, but it's just beautiful. It's my obsession. I think every state in the nation should have a mountain like this for people to look at.
Bright and white in the morning light, such beauty is a breathtaking sight. I wish I may, I wish I might, climb to an eagle's dizzying height, to see beyond the pale moonlight the twinkling of bright starlight. I wrote that.
Yesterday I found a good place metal detecting. I'm going to take the camera back over there this morning and I'll show you some of the things I found yesterday. It's just over here about a quarter mile. Where they worked for gold during the 1850s. So it should be pretty interesting. My foot on a very large snake on its tail. It's got the markings of a rattlesnake. But it's not. Tell you, whenever I'm walking out here through this stuff, my main concern is always rattlesnakes.
was a quail. Although since I've been out here, I've only seen one rattlesnake. There's another one. Oop, there's another one. The old prospectors put these ditches in along the hillsides to catch all the water running off. And then they would run it down through their sluice boxes in their work area. There's another quail. We'd have some good shooting out here. Usually you see 10 together, 20, 30. I've seen flocks as many as 50. Well, I found a few interesting pieces here. About a dozen square nails. The point of a pry bar. This is the largest square nail I've ever found right here. It's a spike. I think I'll keep this one. This one right here looks like it was used, made a little tool out of it. Maybe to clean out the crevices in the bedrock, get the gold out. This area here was used as a break area. I'll show you what I mean. The work area where they did their placer operation is right here. All of these exposed rocks are rocks they brought up off bedrock. And this being an undisturbed area, I figured they possibly took a break here. They had a campfire here at one time. And possibly back then there were large trees in this area for shade. And they made a big pond over here for the mining operation. The bank runs along here for about 300 yards. Pond in here about 10 foot deep. They had to have running water for the gold process to separate the gold from the concentrates. But what I'm really looking for are old coins, maybe a lost nugget out of a hole in the pocket. And anytime I find the square nails, I know I'm looking in the right area. Because the square nails, I'm going to have to find out what the date was when they started using round nails. I'm sure it was well before 1900. This area here was worked during the early 1850s, according to my books. And they worked it for about 6 years, and then she was completely cleaned out. And what I'm looking for is the stray nugget, the lost coin, anything of value. Well, they had quite a view right here while they worked. Found some rather interesting pieces down here. Found an old dinner plate. And well, square nails as usual. Here's an interesting butter knife. Used to have the wood handle. Had wood inlays in here. I think Grandma Kneale had some in her kitchen when I was a kid. And here's the old dinner plate. Now this is the third hatchet head I've found. It's got a square nail in the end there, where the wood used to be. Yeah, since I've started this trip, it's the third one I've found. Now this sledgehammer head is a 10-pounder, and it has the word Comstock and the date right here, 1884. 10 for 10 pounds. And over here they've got, looks like the word warranted. And this could be the word Peters for the fellow who made the head. But if it was in good shape, it would be worth a little money, because it has the date, the word Comstock on it. Probably made in Comstock, California. Yeah, they really worked this area. It must have been a little glory hole. All of these rocks were taken off the bedrock and piled, and probably had several hundred men working this area one time. I found the artifacts right in here. There's a campfire ring right here, and that's always kind of a clue. Anytime I find a campfire ring, I check out the area very closely. You can see here where they put a little path down through their rock piles so they could get to the sluice boxes. Well, I found just a few more things here. I'm going to head back for lunch. A couple pieces of shovel. Copenhagen. And part of a shovel handle. This is called a grizzly box. They used to use this to separate the worthless stones from the good stuff. Now this thing here, I don't know what it is. It doesn't have any threading. Not really sure what they used it for. None of this stuff has any value, so I think I'll just leave it laying right on the rock right here. This is an interesting little ant. It's called the cow killer ant. It's got brown fuzz all over him. It's fast too. From what I've been reading, Mount Shasta has created at different times 4 different cones up on the summit. There's one here, and one here. There's an old one here, and on the south side there's another crater that was formed during different eruptions. And looking through my binoculars, I noticed another volcano over here. Now this has got a cone-shaped depression up on the top. And there's another volcano over here. This peak over here. Many of your mountain peaks in the Cascade Range are volcanoes. Black Butte over here, that's another, that's a young volcano. That was probably starting up during the last eruption. Now, if it should erupt again and get several more eruptions, you know, it could be as big as Shasta. There could be a time when you could have a monstrous volcanic peak over here if you combine the two. Well, this is the morning of June 1st. The birds are calling, the rooster is calling, the peacock is calling. I like these hills in the morning. They have a two-tone effect. Now the quail are out there calling. When the peacocks call, it reminds me of the Mount Kenya Safari Club. They had a large flock of peacocks that called every morning. You get a flashback to Serengeti. And there's Mount Kenya, Mount Shasta. Oh, I heard turkeys too. There's hear the peacock? Now, someone has a couple peacocks down here, and back over here, somebody's got several turkeys, unless they're wild turkeys. Well, time to head for the office.
You know, a poor day prospecting is better than a good day at the office. You can turn the camera off, Abdullah. What? I showed you how to do that once before. Boy, Abdullah, I'll tell you.
See, you reach around here, press this little button right there. Well, I just came back from metal detecting. I ran into this. He's 37 inches long. This is a prairie rattlesnake. He isn't dead yet. I pinned his head down, put my knife blade through his brain. It's not quite limp yet. When I saw him, he was, my God, he was right next to my boot, all coiled up. Never made a rattle. Well, I stepped back in a hurry, and I pinned him down with my shovel. Put my knife blade right through his head. As you can see, he's still a bit alive. Got some nice rattles on him. A bit bigger than the first one I got. I'll skin this one out and preserve the hide. Big snake. Sure, you ladies appreciate this. Mom's probably going, "Oh my God, get rid of that thing." The rattlesnake is never dead until you cut the head off and bury the head. least that's my attitude. Yeah, this sucker almost got me. I mean, it was too close. I almost stepped right on him, and I'm surprised he never rattled. But he was all coiled up and ready to go. Yeah, I just happened to look down at the ground and saw him coiled there, and I backed off like quick. Well, we're gonna perform surgery. Are you dead? This is gonna be a wide skin, probably 4 or 5 inches. Got off big plates on the underside. It's got 8 rattles. I've heard you can tell the age by the number of rattles they have. And a razor blade works best. Father's Day is coming up. Dad, I'll try and tan this and send it to you. I'd have a rattlesnake for dinner, but he bit himself, so I'm not going to take a chance. Got his cut mouth or something, you can end up getting poison. Meat is it's white, like fish. It's got a bulge in here too. I'm going to see what he ate. Snake all skinned. I even skinned out the head. This snake has a dozen rattlesnake eggs inside it. Let you ladies appreciate this. Now they're not quite developed. There's 12 eggs. That would have been 12 more rattlesnakes. I'm going to roll the skin up and put it in the fridge. I don't have the rose water or the glycerin. You soak it in that and it makes it nice and soft like cloth. It's going to be a pretty wide one. It'll be that wide when it's done.
Well, at least once a year, you want to air out your sleeping bag. You know, keep up appearances. Usually about once a month I'll throw this in a big commercial washer. I think I just heard somebody down there with an AK-47. Bang, 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 bang. They just outlawed assault rifles here in California as of last night, midnight. So yesterday they were selling assault rifles like hotcakes. All of the sporting goods stores in California ran out. So now if you want an assault rifle, you have to go up to Oregon or go over to Nevada or down to Arizona. Just cross the border. Something else they're going to start doing here in California, they're going to allow the police departments to set up roadblocks for illegal weapons. Unregistered firearms, loaded firearms that are banned. Boy, they're getting into a police state situation out here. California quail. You can see the shadow of the mountains behind me casting across the hill in the foreground. Oh, what I could do with a 35 millimeter. It's a pretty shot. The evening sun hitting the west face of Mount Shasta. This is a pretty sunset behind my camp. I don't know if that pink and blue is showing up for you or not, but it sure is pretty here. This is Michelangelo's picture in the Sistine Chapel creation. There's God over here extending his right hand to mankind, who is extending his left hand. Can you see it? No? Well. Over here we have Napoleon, Battle of Waterloo. Can you see the different armies? No? Neither can I.
Yeah, you've got to have a real vivid imagination for some of these natural phenomenon. Well, time to hit the hay. See you in the morning. One last look. Well, today is June 4th. Had a real gully washer last night. Thunder, lightning, jet black clouds. Gotta clean my lens. All dirty. Yeah, I ended up getting more water from a tub, my solar shower. Found something interesting yesterday metal detecting. It's an old silver salt shaker. Can't really make out what's on the bottom, but looks like Gladstone, Connecticut, and on the top it's got, or on the bottom I should say, B.D. Williamson Company. I'll sell that for the silver. Well, we're supposed to get more rain today, so I think I'll just work on the trailer and do some more cleaning, do some reading. Now they should declare it an international holiday. The white-bearded goat of Iran died last night. The Devil Khomeini. Well, he's responsible for literally several 100,000 deaths because of the Iran war and the political killings. The man was a beast. I'm sure there's a special place in hell waiting for him. Good morning. Well, this is gun cleaning day. Like to keep this barrel clean after I've done some shooting. Nothing worse than a rusty gun barrel. I wonder, Dad, do you still have all of your guns in your collection? Like the last time I was up there, you had about 40. Trying to keep from knocking my ducks off the wall up there. Got 3 plaster ducks above the door. In flight. Well, Father's Day is coming up. I'm going to have to buy a card for Dad. Mom's birthday is 28th. I'm going to have to get her a card. 28 years old, Ma. A couple times. Of course, Dad's been 28 a couple times too. I always like to remind him of it. But I'm heading in that direction myself. Gun works like a charm now that I had the placed on the bolt. Before I'd have to hold the forearm in a certain position to keep the little plate and that bolt from popping off, and then that would send the firing pin spring to the rear. Wouldn't have any firing pin. Gun tends not to shoot when you don't have a firing pin. Well, this is an excellent rabbit gun, especially out here long distances. But it's a better goose and duck gun at this long barrel. Plus with a Magnum you can really reach out. Always looking at guns for sale out here, and I'll tell you, people just don't take care of them. They expect the gun to keep itself oiled and expect the gun to clean out its barrel. It just doesn't happen. I've got a scope for this shotgun, but I don't think I'll put it on. Now this is a tap for a scope. My last deer was brought down with a shotgun. That one I filmed up behind Dad's place. You guys ever watch those tapes just before the deer hunting season opens up? I bought this bottle of Hoppies, my God, 20 years ago, and I've still got her. Well, I'm going to have to get a new battery charger for my battery in the back. The little one I've got just doesn't seem to want to work. So I'll get something a little bigger. It's one of those little Kmart battery chargers. I think I paid $5 for it. Every time I run my generator, I like to charge all my different batteries. Well, how's bachelor life treating you, Dennis? I'll tell you, I'm enjoying mine. Don't think I'll ever get married again. It was nice while it lasted, but I'm not going to commit myself again. See, Clint Eastwood is going through a palimony suit. His live-in wants the mansion in Bel Air and their beachfront house. Well, I don't know why he just doesn't take out his .44 Magnum and bore brains out. He does that with all the bad guys. Or at least punch her in the mouth. Don't get me wrong, I still like women, but I don't want to be committed to anything again. A little dry slide on the interior parts here. Good shotgun, Dad. I'm glad I got it from you. Chase off wetbacks, shoot jackrabbits. I've got 2 cats with that. That's why I'm cleaning it. I shot a cat last night. Charged me. It was wild. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that because eventually the kids are going to see these videos. They're going to think their dad is a real creep. I'll tell you, the cats, they get so many quail and small birds. I don't have to explain that to the Kneale boys, but the women don't quite understand that problem. Or the Kneale men, I should say, not boys. Well, if I make enough money gold dredging this summer, I just might. Well, if I make enough, I'll pay off my my child support, and I've got a credit card charge. I've got to pay that off. And if I get my financial obligations on the up and up, then I'll possibly head back to, or fly back to Michigan and do some deer hunting with you guys and spend the holiday and then fly back out. And I'll put my trailer and truck in storage probably someplace in Arizona. I'll fly out of some Arizona town. I really miss that deer hunting. I miss all of you guys terribly. So if I get my finances situated where if I come back to Michigan they aren't going to slap me in irons, then we'll come back for just a few weeks and take off again. I think you can only stand a couple weeks of me anyway. I tend to get too enthusiastic with my deer hunting. I practically live it. And I'd like to try Mom's sandwiches again. I haven't had one of those sinful sandwiches in, geez, a year and a half. Well, I think I'll work on my trailer today, do a little more cleaning up. I've got to take my carpet out and pound the dust out of it. I've got Arizona dust in here. I've got a lot of California dust. Got some Pacific Ocean beach sand. Got the remnants of Mount Shasta mud. They're pretty, black and white. They don't let you get very close though. Several down in here right now. When they're flying, they really stand out. I don't know if we saw that one or not. This is the road I come in on. Hawkinville is just down here, and Mount Shasta is right here in the cloud cover. I'll shoot another sequence when the clouds are gone. I'll be walking down the road. And my camp is right over here. This hornet's devouring a caterpillar. I was just sitting here contentedly reading my book, and I heard a shot. Over here I heard a ricochet. Another shot, there's another ricochet. And I looked up and there's a girl over here about 50 yards away, and she's shooting a pistol. Toward me. So I got up and I said, hey. I walked down there and I talked to her and I said, when you shoot a gun, you got to have a backstop that's close to you. You don't just start shooting. She got a little huffy with me, and I felt like sticking that pistol up a certain part of her anatomy. People are dumb. Needless to say, she left. Luckily for her. Right now I'm reading Lieutenant Gordon Cummings' Hunting in Africa, or India. Paid $1 for this book. Copyright's 1872, first edition. It's probably worth $100. It's a collector's value. Good book. Most of it takes place. Good morning. It's June 5th. This is a pretty shot, the way the sun's rays are hitting the grass. There are purples and pinks, light greens, dark greens. The poppies haven't opened up yet this morning. grass stems look like colored glass. Self-portrait. Well, I was sitting here reading my book, and I could hear something crawling in the grass over here, and I got up and looked and went over and it's going to attack me. Ouch. Bastard. And went over and caught this Oregon alligator lizard. Yeah, they get up to 16 inches long. Kind of pretty. I'll hold him up in front of the camera. I'll end up letting him go. It does look like a miniature alligator. Little alligator feet. There he goes. I knew that he would live. I'd send him to Anthony in the mail. Probably make pretty good pets. They really don't have any teeth. They've got just a rim jaw like a turtle. Did some metal detecting down here in the valley this morning. Found a lot of old square nails, but that was about it. A couple days I'll move my camp over here. Well, back to my book. Pretty good book. This one on hunting in India. It's had some wear. Of course, it's 112 years old. Got a lot of pictures in it. See if I can find the one here. Now this is a picture of a tiger going up the trunk of an elephant, and Colonel Cummings ends up shooting it. A lot of line engravings in this book. Pretty intricate. There's a glider getting a tow. I get a little extra money. I think I'll take one of the glider trips. Take some video. It was called a white-tailed kite. They were almost extinct back in the 1940s. Similar to or goshawk back in Michigan. First one I've seen. Well, this is June 6th. Today is National Rug Beating Day. Get some of this Arizona and California dust out. So, listening to the radio this morning, they had Ayatollah Khomeini's funeral yesterday, and the crowds became so excited that they dumped the carcass on the ground. I couldn't help but laugh this morning. I thought it was hilarious. It's a beautiful day. It's been in the 80s the last few days. I'm going to move my camp over to this range of hills on the horizon over here. This afternoon I'll go and pick up my mail, then drive up there and see if there's a suitable campsite, and if it looks pretty good, then I'll pull my trailer up this afternoon. Well, today is June 7th. There's a golden eagle sailing around up there. Beautiful day. I did my laundry. It's drying. Yesterday we had 84. This morning we had 40. I have a question for you, Anthony. What's bigger than a mountain and moves? Don't know? What's a cloud? So that cloud right there is bigger than the mountain. Got another large thunderhead over here. Today is June 8th. I moved my trailer from here over to the spot here to take advantage of the shade trees. Took out a few bushes so I could put back in there. Temperature got up to 88 today. Yeah, I get pretty good shade from these oak trees right here after 4 o'clock. take a shower right there. Makes for a nice private place. Plus the sun hits me when I'm getting wet. I've noticed one thing with the cloud pattern out here. They get these big thunderheads and cloud formations on the other side of the Cascade Range over here, to the east side of the Cascades, and the clouds don't come this way. Just march south and stay on the other side of the Cascade Range. The glider tow plane today must have taken up at least a dozen or more gliders. Those fellas, they get up there and they glide for hours and hours. Saw one this afternoon. He was close to the side of the mountain over here. Must be a beautiful flight. I've been scouring these hills just about every morning, trying to find the site of the old trading post up there and do some metal detecting, but so far I haven't found it. Well, I'm looking for either a depression in the ground where they had the building, or say a line of stones where they had the foundation. Anything that looks like it might have been disturbed by man. I've been finding where the prospectors did a lot of work. I find their tools, and I find the square nails where they made their sluice boxes. But no building sites. The poppies, every evening about 6 o'clock, they close up and stay closed, and then the next day about 11 o'clock they open back up again. Really pretty. I wonder if they'd grow in Michigan. Send a few seeds home this probably this fall, and see if you folks can get some California poppies started back there in Michigan. They're all over out here. This hillside over here across the valley is yellow with them. You can just about make them out. Well, today is June 10th. I moved my camp this morning up a little higher from my other camp, about a half a mile from the other camp. I'm still in Rocky Gulch. This is a better campsite. I've got shade. It's a lot cooler. Plus the stream is right down here where I get my shower water. The rattlesnake I killed him right here. So I'm always looking for more. And plus I have that same incredible view. The place where I found all of the old mining artifacts is over here a couple hundred yards. So this is a better campsite for me. I'm closer to the hills that I walk. Well, last night was 38. High temperature right now is about 73. So it's a cooler campsite. I'm reading one of my safari hunting magazines. This guy's hunting markhor in Pakistan. The animal looks has a horn similar to a kudu. The color's kind of a gray-brown. They're kind of ugly myself. Very high, mountainous type hunting. Show you the view I get while I'm sitting here. It's incredible. That's the view, isn't that incredible? No, actually the view is right here. I'd nip off some branches up here so I could get my my unobstructed view. If you look real closely, there's a deer up here in these trees. And right above the trees, there's an old mine tunnel. See the tailing pile. There's a golden eagle. He was over here in front of the mountain a few minutes ago, but I was just a bit too slow with the camera. I'm sitting over here in my lawn chairs reading a magazine, and you get these giant black horse flies. Take the splice water and swat them. I think I'll stick this one in a jar and send it to Anthony. It's a big one. I think 10 of these would carry off a deer. Got a savage bite. They just slice into you with a couple meat cleavers. Glad black flies aren't this big. They don't have black flies out here, but they've got a real small fly about the size of a black fly. It doesn't bite, but it just constantly pesters you. I like this campsite. There's a tremendous amount of bird life. Deer, quail, jackrabbits. They've got a lot of Oregon white oak up here too. Ponderosa pine, western white pine, juniper, western cedar. I'm surprised they don't have wild pig and turkey in this area, because there's a lot of oak, and that's what they like to feed on. Put up my solar water heater. I get water down in the stream and put it in my big tub and my solar bag, warm it up for showers and washing. I don't drink it though, unless I boil it. Now these Oregon white oak right here make nice shade in the afternoon. Temperature's been hitting 80s. Last night was 50. Yesterday's high was 86. And today is June 11th. Well, I found a big patch of gooseberries over here. Actually, bushes are all over this whole area. So I'll make some gooseberry jam. Maybe a little wine. I've got a wine recipe. Something I'm doing differently with my pancakes now. I dry them out in the sun in my truck here, and I make hardtack. It's almost like eating a king-size cracker when I get done. All the moisture's drawn out. And then I'll put old jam or butter or whatever on them when I eat them. That's afternoon food. The pancakes and butter and honey I eat in the morning. Now this is something you may never see again. Over here there are 9 gliders within this circle. Through my 10 power binocular I can pick them all out. This is only 6 power. Not even sure if you can see them. Little white specks when the light hits it just right. I should think it would be a bit dangerous. They're all pretty close together like a bunch of circling vultures. Could run into each other. This thunderhead right here above Mount Shasta gives you the impression it's erupting. It's a very hazy day. You can just barely make out the lower slope. Snowfields. Now the whole thing is piled up on top of the summit. The mountain itself is right here. This shot right here, Shasta looks like it's fuming. This is May 13th. We've got some lenticular clouds forming up on the summit. Oh, good morning. It'll be a beautiful day. Cloudy though. Well, I thought I'd run off the end of this piece of tape here. Wish Dad a happy Father's Day. Wish Mom an early happy birthday. You're 29, Mom, right? 30? You'll have to excuse the dark face. I don't have a light on my camera that would lighten up the face and still get the background. So I'm going to be a black man during this segment right here. Got some lenticular clouds forming up on the summit this morning. Incidentally, this is the third time I've shot this thing. It's cutting off the top of my head. Didn't have the mountain focused just right. The life of the lone cameraman is a very difficult one. I want to say hi to Anthony and Amber, and I hope to make it up there this November and December. I'd like to take Anthony out deer hunting. Amber too, if she'd like to go. And you think you can sit still, Anthony? I doubt it. You're just like me when I was your age. Oh, hopefully Mom and Dad will send these 2 films up to you. I've written and asked them to send 2 films a month, so you guys will have lots to laugh about and get to see your dad. Well, I think I'll do some laundry today and go into town Monday. Getting low on groceries. The salmon are running in the rivers out here, and they haven't been catching very many of them. The runs are getting pretty poor. Most of the rivers out here have been dammed up, and it really cuts down on the area where the salmon can go up and spawn in the side streams. Get some sprinkles. Of course, we've got these oak worms up in these trees right here, and they're constantly shitting on my head. By the time it hits down here, it's usually dry. It doesn't smear. Little bird you just heard is a brewer's wren. And the other bird you hear is a California quail. That one right there was a California quail. Well, I hope you enjoy my tapes. I'll probably have to go down and buy another batch. I'm